After the failed summit in Alaska on August 15th, U.S. President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin are preparing for a second round of talks in Europe, most likely in Budapest. The Kremlin confirmed that the meeting could take place within 2 weeks or slightly later, though no official date has yet been set. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov told reporters that Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov and U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio would first need to hold a call to iron out pending issues before a high-level summit could be confirmed. Peskov emphasized that Russia remains open to a peaceful solution to the war in Ukraine, but acknowledged that before any formal handshake, both sides must address the issue of the international arrest warrant issued against President Putin by the International Criminal Court, or ICC. The ICC has asked Hungary, as a signatory of the Rome Statute and an EU member, to enforce the arrest warrant should Putin set foot on its territory. However, the Hungarian government has made it clear that Putin will not be arrested. Foreign Minister Peter Szijjártó stated, "We will welcome President Vladimir Putin with respect. He will enter Hungary, hold successful negotiations, and return home. We don't need to consult anyone. We are a sovereign country." This assurance followed a phone call between Putin and Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán, during which Orbán, according to a Kremlin readout, provided full guarantees for hosting the summit in Budapest. Meanwhile, the European Union has not imposed any travel ban on Putin, although he remains under economic sanctions. A European Commission spokesperson clarified that enforcing the ICC warrant is a national competence. Each EU member state decides individually. The upcoming summit is expected to resume the stalled negotiations from Alaska, where no concrete agreement was reached on key issues such as Russia's troop withdrawal, the status of occupied territories, and security guarantees for Ukraine. This new Trump-Putin meeting represents a second attempt to test U.S.-Russian diplomacy at a time when the war in Ukraine is militarily frozen but politically volatile. The choice of Budapest is no coincidence. It reflects Viktor Orbán's controlled neutrality, as the Hungarian leader has positioned himself as Moscow's ally inside the EU and a convenient broker for both sides. Yet the summit could become a serious test for the West. For the European Union, allowing such a meeting on EU soil, where a member state openly refuses to enforce an international court order, undermines the credibility and unity of its legal and moral framework. For Trump, who seeks to cast himself as the peacemaker president, it's an opportunity to gain international legitimacy amid growing domestic controversies in the United States. For Putin, the meeting serves a different purpose: to normalize his global image and demonstrate that, despite an ICC warrant, he can still walk on European soil welcomed with a red carpet, not handcuffs. But one thing remains clear: any peace negotiated under unequal terms, where the aggressor sits at the table and the victim is absent, is not a peace deal but a diplomatic simulation of strength. If the Budapest summit happens, it will not be judged by words like dialogue, but by what happens on the ground afterward, or doesn't.